going to be fun. Dean, you're the second person ever that we've had back on the podcast, so you're a stud.
Yo.
I remember you told me this because you just said it. And I said, I don't want to miss anything. But you told me, like, man, I just don't understand, Jonas, why you don't have 100 reps already. Like, I know next year by this time I'll have like 100 reps. But yeah, you'll see. My exact text back to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. You'll see. That was it. Then I ate my words.
And anyway, how are things going over there?
Good. No, really good. Team's doing really awesome. Our new production manager is murdering it, so I can actually do what I'm good at, which is nothing to do with. Like, the closer I get to operations, the less efficient we are and the more money we lose. So the further away I am, it's good.
For all those that know Colby, Dean is a 9 and quick start. So he's always trying to change things and start new things. And he's a lot like myself. So sometimes I got to rein him in a little bit.
Yeah, that's our average coaching call is me wanting to do something new and you being like, no, you just got to do what, you said you're going to do 2 months ago. Yeah, it's fair. That's all I've been doing basically recently, especially now that the season's, going good and we're kind of in a lull as far as, because we still do a lot of mowing and landscaping that I'm probably going to not do more in the future, but and then we do the fertilization weed control stuff. And so with that is going pretty good. So like not a lot of me needed operationally. So I've just been going out knocking doors every day and spending a lot of time trying to recruit people and figuring out how we can do that, because getting a software stack where you can sign up customers on the door is also not that easy when you use less than ideal software.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, right? But I remember last time this year, like you're one of your biggest struggles was that operations manager. That was just you're trying to run the whole thing, and you found a stud of a guy that took a lot off your plate. And I know you're having efficiency issues, you're having quality issues, and so when we talked about it the other day, but you've come a long way, like last years, a lot has changed over there at Full Circle.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where, and you see it too, but from the outside, everything seems so fast, right? Like somebody looks at your journey and is like, man, in the last X years, he's done all this cool stuff. And I can say that looking from the outside, but the day-to-day is so not that. And so for me, it's it doesn't feel like we've come that far, but if you look back, it's oh yeah, no, a year ago I was hopping on a lawnmower randomly because somebody didn't show up for work, and I haven't been on a lawnmower in a long time. So it's getting better. Yeah,
and I said this to my guys, if you were just to take yourself out of the company, leave for a year, and then came back this year and look back at what your team accomplished while you're gone, you'd be like, oh man, that's awesome. But you get so sucked into the day-to-day that you don't see the big picture all the time. You don't see the 100-foot view. So why don't you tell everyone what you started doing this year? A little bit different than what you were doing. You kind of went off on your own little journey. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So no, basically, after talking with you and hearing about the growth there, I'm somebody that wants to grow as fast as humanly possible. And the economics of door-to-door theoretically are really good as far as you have the front end and the back end commissions. And so you can bring on a lot of people and it doesn't require a ridiculous amount of cash to grow really fast. And then it can compound on itself. And then, you bring in a couple really good reps and you train them, and then they bring on their friends and their friends and their friends, and it continues. And also it let me learn to get sales, because I've always been good at sales or good at selling. And then you look at some of the guys in the door-to-door space who are actually good at selling, like yourself. And it's there's another level to it. And so I wanted to learn that. So we've been just getting after it on that side of things. And we've had I'd have to look, but probably 20 plus reps say they were going to start. Of those 20 plus people that said they would start, probably maybe 8 have actually started. And of the 8 that actually started, we have 1 that still works here. His name's Sam. He rocks. He started this past week. So he's 4 days in. And that's the only one we have right now, other than myself. I'm out there selling, like I said, so I can close on an average day, if I'm not in my own head, 3 to 5 accounts in a day. And that's kind of where I'm at sales wise. So not great, but not complete rookie. And yeah, just trying to bring on people is tough. And this for the first time ever, I actually regret not really having a lot of friends in high school and just sitting in the upstairs cafeteria and doing business stuff. But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Yeah. What has been the biggest challenge with recruiting? Is it finding the people? Is it getting them to start? Is it showing them how to sell? getting them engaged, like on the doors, doing good? Like, what is it? All of the above?
So it feels like everything feels hard right now, but I think for me, it's like, getting people engaged in selling is not like if they actually just knock the doors, like, it's a numbers game, especially initially. And I'm not worried about teaching them how to sell because, if you talk to 100 people, you're going to, or, you talk to 250 people, you're at least going to get one laydown. Especially for fertilization weed control with us, like we get a lot more than, I'm sure you guys get people seeing bugs, but for us, it's like, hey, like you have weeds. Do you want weeds? No. Perfect. Sign here. And what's your credit card number? Whereas, so that side's not too bad, but I think the hardest thing for me is, finding people's been okay enough. Like we've had a lot of people come through and been interested, but then, telling people like, hey, so what it is it's a 1099 position where you come in, you don't get paid any base salary, but that's so we can actually, you have the upside of the commission. So you can make as much money as you want. But normally what that looks like is you're making, I'm making about $2,000 to $2,500 a week when I'm actually selling full time. So not saying you can make that, but you could definitely make easily $1,000, $1,500 a week, which way beats $16 an hour at the ice cream store, or whatever, they're doing, or we beat $16 an hour cutting grass. But people see that and then they're like, wait, I have to talk to people and like go out and walk around, and people just get nervous to knock on doors and they say it's so awesome, right? And they're like, yeah, no, I want to do it. This sounds great. And then, the day before they're supposed to come in, hey, Dean, just looked at my schedule this summer, I don't know if it's gonna be worth it for me. Just, but I wish you the best of luck, man. Like that's been the big thing.
And then the guys that do make it in, that go knock for a couple of days, whether it's a week or 2 weeks, what about those guys? What's been the biggest struggle there?
My favorite line is, man, like, I know you said it'd be hard, but like, I didn't realize it'd be like this hard. Like I didn't realize I'd have to like go knock on doors all day and like get rejected. I know you said I'd get rejected. I know you asked me if I was okay with rejection. And I know you asked me for an example of a time I was rejected and overcame it, but this is just too much. And that's been the short of it.
Yeah, but it's hard compared to what? You know what I mean? It's not hard to knock on doors. You're not shoveling dirt, not in a hole. You're not over in a different country where they wouldn't let you knock on doors. They don't let you work. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, it's really not that hard.
No, that's the crazy thing to me too. Cause like, people say it and like, hey, there's a lot of rejection, but like I go around all day and I ride around on a Segway and knock on doors. And the worst thing that happens is somebody's like tells me to go F myself. And I say, oh, okay, thanks, man. Have a good day. Have a blessed day. And then I go to the next house. Like, it's not that hard, and the upside is massive, but people are just, I don't know if it's afraid to do it or they just, can't wrap their head around like having to go sell stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. So to all the business owners that are listening that won't go out there and do that themselves, what do you say to those guys? Like, or they say like door to door is dead. You know what I mean? How many times have you heard that? Door to door.
Every time I tell somebody about door to door, and I'm like, oh yeah, I sold 17 accounts last week. And they're like, what? So for them to say, and you see that online, right? Like all the comments of like on,
But they're all the operators, right?
Yeah.
They're all the operators, technicians, operation side, business owners that just don't want to go out there. And so that's their excuse that it's dead. So if you haven't heard about Gorilla Desk yet, it's a super sick software. It's actually made by one of my really close friends, Chris Mareshi. So Chris built Gorilla Desk to help streamline his own personal business over 10 years ago. But now Gorilla Desk is used by over 4,000 companies. And today it's become one of the most premier platforms in our industry. So what's really unique about Gorilla Desk is that it's a simple all-in-one solution that's really easy for your team to use. Gorilla Desk offers a seamless onboard experience and best-in-class support with no additional cost. It's all included in your subscription. Inside the software, you'll find a whole suite of features: scheduling, invoicing, routing, and sales pipelines, integrated VoIP, text messaging, and pretty much all the automation you're going to need, and much, much more. So if you guys are still relying on paper or spreadsheets or fighting with an old software, I highly recommend that you guys check out Gorilla Desk. So we have a link in our description. Click on that and it'll take you right to their free trial. Now let's get back to the show.
They're just, I'm trying to think of a word that's not derogatory, but they're babies. They're babies. Like, you just go out there and talk to people. Like, and if you can't sell accounts, like, that's fine. You suck. Like, it's not a problem. I still suck compared to, where I want to be. And like, it's just, you just gotta, there's an Alex Hormozy thing, right? Like, it's better to be bad for a season than, or whatever. It's better to be bad for a season than bad for a lifetime. And that's how I look at it. And so.
What made you want to go do this?
I wanted to grow faster as a company. And I think that, for us, the fastest way to grow is door to door. Now, there's a lot of bad to it, bad as well. What's that the video you guys did with Parker, where, he talks about all the negative reviews that you get from door to door. We've actually been pretty good there because I'm pretty nice to people in general. Like, I'm not going to be mean. And if somebody comes out, they're happy. I did get the cops caught me for the first time the other day, which is pretty funny.
It's like a daily thing for us.
Yeah, they were nice and they just let me go.
They always are. Like, they're just doing their job. Someone called, so they got to come out and check it out. Then they just say, hey, someone called, they have an issue. Do you have your license or permit? And they're like, I'll just go around the next block. Just get out of here. They're always cool about it. But what we try to do, pro tip, we always try to sign the cop up that's there. And I would say 50% of the time we do. Because the cops are the coolest people ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just chilling like us,
That's good. I'm totally going to do that next time.
And I know there's more to the story. So, why don't you tell us, where the business is now from where it was last year? Like I said, how old are you?
21.
So 21 years old, run $1 million company, landscaping, lawn care, a little bit of snow removal that they get. And then you're kind of pivoting though.
Yeah. So we did, we used to do, basically, we were like everybody else in the landscape space, where through COVID, we went from doing 250,000 to doing like 750,000, whatever year that was, 2020, 2021. And basically, we did a lot of landscape installs, so like patios, hardscaping, all that. Did the $30,000 projects, whatever. Not that they're the biggest ever, but just like it was big enough for me, and realized that that's not what I wanted to do. Like, there's not a lot of enterprise value in those. I think the podcast you did with I'm gonna botch. It's Rick Wallace, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hysterical when he's talking about valuations on hardscape companies compared to fertilization or pest control, especially pest control. But so with that, I was like, all that compounded, I was like, got it, don't want to do that, and it's also really painful operationally to do those jobs, and it's the margins are tight a lot of times, and so all that for all those reasons got out of the hardscaping side. We were just doing mowing and landscaping. But looking at growing that is tough because the margins are, depending on how you do it, pretty tough. We're not losing money now. Our cost of goods are better than they have been because I didn't have an operator. But so that helped a lot. But still.
And you switched to P for P, right?
Yeah, and we do P for P, and so the guys make really good money, which is awesome.
Your efficiency went up.
Yeah, massively. Yeah, and I think we pay out on mowing, it's like 30. I have to look because I know we upped it a little bit ago, but it's like 38% for mowing, and I think 36% for landscaping is about the average cost of goods. And then as far as actually what we're doing now is we went from doing landscaping, a ton of mowing, to this year you couldn't sign up to be a mowing customer unless you were a neighbor of a mowing customer. So we'd be dumb not to take the account, or if you got set up for fertilization weed control. So now, I think 40% of our mowing customers have fertilization weed control service as well. And then that's where we're really just growing. We put all of our marketing there. We didn't do any marketing for mowing or for landscaping this year. Did a bunch of email campaigns for fertilization weed control. And then talking with you about it, we just, we went through that, if you want to grow really fast, especially because it's a recurring service, door to door is the best way to do it. You can build really tight routes. And so if you look at a map of all of our customers, just on a map, you could see where the door-to-door areas are and where I've been door-to-door, because you can just see it's so compact compared to even if you're going 2 accounts in a neighborhood, 3 accounts in a neighborhood, 1 account in a neighborhood. Now we're pulling up and it's 15 accounts in a neighborhood, 6 accounts in a neighborhood. And it just, the efficiency is way up. And so even if we are, I think they talk about, whatever, they talk about this in the door-to-door world, but it's a deal's a deal. And so sometimes I'm going to the bottom price I can, but it's we're in a neighborhood, we're already doing all these accounts, or it's the first account to get my foot in the door there. I'm okay if it's not, we're not making ridiculous money on those accounts.
Because in the service industry, what kills us is windshield time, right? So if we can reduce the windshield time as much as possible, that's the goal.
Yeah. So that's kind of the transition that we've made, is from basically, doing a bunch of landscaping and changing the name from Full Circle Lawn Care to Full Circle Landscape Solutions. Now I'm wearing stuff that says Full Circle Services. We might change it again and make it Full Circle Fertilizing. I don't know.
It's a good color though.
Yeah, great color and good hat design. I don't know if you noticed, but you've worn a hat very similar to this with a badger on it.
It looks familiar. Where was the first neighborhood you started doing door to door? Did you already have customers in there?
So I started door to door when I started the company. So like I was like probably, I think I was 15. So I was like 15 at the time, right? And I would have my parents drive me and then drop me off in the neighborhoods around their neighborhood. And I would go knock on doors. I sold my first lawn ever. I think it was a 20. I still remember the house and the guy. He canceled because I raised his price, but we charged him like $20 like bi-weekly to mow it. And I was just so happy. I sold my first customer ever. And then it should have been a $50 lawn, but whatever, weekly. So that was when I started. But then this year when I got started again, I was actually nervous, and I still haven't gone in there yet. But like, I basically started on the outskirts of our territory because I wanted to get accounts that were good, where we had customers like in neighborhoods or customers that were local that I could point to. But I didn't want to do it in like our densest neighborhoods. Two reasons for me personally, which neither one of them makes sense. It's all emotional stuff, but whatever.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. But so I started in those because the neighborhoods that we have the most customers in, I wanted to wait until I was better at door to door. Once again, all mental BS. And the other thing is, I also worried that because we've done so much work in those neighborhoods, people will recognize me and also dislike me because we've not always been as awesome as we are now at servicing customers. And so even in the neighborhoods where we cut
But do you think that's a good opportunity?
Oh, 100%. It's all mental garbage on my end. Why I haven't. And now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm going to have to go there next week and knock those doors so I don't feel like a little baby.
I'm holding your foot to the fire on this one.
Yeah. So,
but I just think like people just like, even if we're an unhappy customer, like that happens to us too. Like it happens to every door-to-door company. None of us are perfect. You know what I mean? But those people just want to be heard. They like to say, look, totally understand. It was definitely our fault. But this is what we're doing now. Totally apologize. Give us a shot, and you'd be surprised. Or like yesterday, we had a person cancel, and their cancellation reasons because they moved. Oh, we knocked their door again yesterday, and walked right up to her. Oh, hey Michelle, how's it going? She's like, oh, I'm doing great. And she's like, oh yeah, looks like on your council, like he moved. She's like, oh, I've been meaning to call you guys back. 2 years later, signs back up. So again, just. I think it's you'd be surprised. And yes, you're going to get people who flip you off before you even get to the door. They're not happy. But how often, for real, how often do you get someone who's really pissed off?
Once every other day. Once every other day, probably.
You go knock 100 doors, you maybe run into one person that's just a jerk. Maybe, And
I think especially for us in non-traditional markets, like people aren't like, I was knocking behind somebody, yesterday just by virtue of it was a brand new neighborhood. So all the companies are sending reps there. But like most of the neighborhoods I'm knocking in, like they get a couple reps a year because it's not a traditional market here. So like they're nice. And most of the people that tell me to go, that get really mad are people that I'm pushing on, right? Like, I try to do an icebreaker and it flops, and then I try again and it flops, and then they're like, leave, and I'm like, what, did you want me to tell you what I'm doing for the neighbor? And they're like, go, and then they start yelling. So it's like, it's self-inflicted too, and then you just laugh and whatever.
And that's all you can do is just laugh. How has it been for you, your first year knocking and running into other companies and other reps in the area?
Really positive, actually. The only reps I think I've actually ran into were some of the guys from GreenX, and they were super nice.
Like, do you follow like any of that stuff online?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. And if that interaction happened, I would be.
Yeah. Did you see Sam Taggart? Shout out to Sam. His POV style video that he did on that guy.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid. He's just out there to change the industry, make the industry better in itself. It was pretty cool that he did that.
Yeah, and I think we get a bad rep too, like just in general, right? Like especially when we're talking to older people, like people that are like my age are just like, oh, I've heard of door to door, like I'll hear about like what are you doing? But a lot of people that are like 40s, 50s, I'm like, oh, I'm doing door to door, and they're like, ugh. I'm like, it's legit. Like we just go in and sell it. Like what about cold calling? Like it's the same difference.
But if you ask those same people what they think of a car salesman, they're going to say the same thing. Yeah. It's not just door to door, it's just sales in general. They think that sales is sleazy and we're trying to like get every deal that we can. And it's not the way it is. Like we're literally out there helping people.
Yeah, and I have to reframe this for myself all the time, but like I get mad that people can't make decisions, and once again, it's because my lack of sales ability, not their lack of decision making. But it's crazy in these like middle class neighborhoods, and I'm like, you've never made a decision. Like I need to think about it. Like, and they, when they actually like, I'm like, well, do you need to hear anything else, or have you heard enough to make a decision today? And they're like, yeah, I've heard everything I need to know. I just need some time. And then, even if you go from like, assuming it's not just a smokescreen, they're just BSing and they just hate me as a person and they don't believe anything that's coming out of my mouth, which is what's happening. But like the fact that they can't make a decision and they think they need time or they don't want to hurt my feelings and say no, it's like, it baffles me. Cause I'll just make a call, like just make a decision. Like it's about your lawn. Like we'll make it green. We've got plenty of reviews, or stay with your current company. I don't care. And that's the big thing too is, people hate being sold, but they love buying. But like, I don't care whether you buy or not. I just need to feel my technicians are out. Like, do you want me to get in the schedule or not? You just give me a shot. And it's just like, and they're like, I need to think about it. Just give me a couple days. It's like,
but do they actually, I think they're going to go back. I mean, sometimes it does happen. Can't say never. Do you think they go back in the house and just sit there and think about it? No, they don't give two shits. Like, then just tell us and be honest and just say, no, see you later.
I don't know. It's like, now I got to waste time and like, maybe I should stop back. And like, yeah, we do like probably like, here, like, especially because I do like, sometimes I just don't close the right way, like as much as I should. And I was listening to that training this morning because I was feeling dumb for missing a bunch of sales yesterday.
Close hard and close often, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So just listening to closing stuff. But like, I have had a fair bit. I have had probably, maybe a handful of accounts like fill out the, like get signed up after I left from the estimate link I sent. But most of the time they're not gonna sign up. And I mean, that's coming from a small sample size. I've sold like 75 so far this year, and I probably sold another 25 in my life before this year.
Yeah, but you're not doing it full time either. You're just doing a couple hours a day or a couple hours a week, so you're doing great.
No, my goal is to do more full time. And I think you said yesterday on our coaching call that you would totally vlog it. So I think I'm going to start doing that.
I think it's awesome. Well, I think it's so cool. Like, think of all the cool stories that in 5 years that you be able to tell. You know what I mean? It's so cool.
Yeah, and then like, this is me when I was in my eating SHIT era, right? Like, this is me when I'm back then, and I'm knocking on doors, and today I bagels.
But you're out there learning yourself, and you're going to put on accounts for your company. You're helping grow the company, and you want to get good at it so you can go show someone else how to do it.
And I think you and I talk to owners. I mean, I do now. Not that I'm in the space, just friends that I've talked to, but like. People all the time are like, oh, I want to do a door-to-door guy. I want to hire this guy and he's going to do door-to-door for me. And I'm like, I wouldn't advise that. And they're like, but you're doing it. I'm like, I'm really not doing it actually. First off, I'm trying my hardest to do it. And I'm spending all this time and still failing at it. And secondly, like, they're just not going to, like, you need, somebody has to train them. And why would they not just go work for somebody else at that point too? Like, if they really wanted to do door-to-door and you found somebody that wanted to do it, and then go to work for somebody that can't sell anything, they're just going to go and there's plenty of guys on social media that love to recruit them. Like
100%. I know you were trying to recruit early on, and it was kind of funny because I didn't realize that the recruiting events at the colleges actually end. that was fun. So pro tip again.
Yeah, pro tip there that you should, when the recruiting season is happening for colleges, you should go to all of the ones in your local area. Because they stopped. And I was pretty sad about that because we had some, like, this is just as Eric was getting started, because he started like, kind of early spring when the recruiting events are happening. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to take like, whatever. I took a couple weeks off from going to them to like help him get set up, show him what's going on. Now he's murdering it. I wouldn't need to do that anymore. But that's what I was doing at that point. And then I was like, great, let me go back on Handshake, right? It's whatever. Let me go back on Handshake and see what events are happening. And it was just nothing. So that was, I think if I went to some more of those, we'd have some more reps, and that's going to be a big thing next year for sure. And also just being able to point to myself and like, hey, this is where I was on the comp plan. Like, I'll probably sell like 150 accounts or so this year. And so when I am able to point to it and say, yeah, no, I would have made 30 grand working as door-to-door sales. I could teach you to do the same thing. This was actually my first full year doing it. I'm not saying you could do as good as me, but you could at least make 20, and 20 grand sound good. Sweet.
We had a rookie drop 17 yesterday. Shout out to Charlie.
Damn, Charlie. That's awesome.
Pretty wild. It was absolutely insane. So he stopped at a person's house, And the husband is in the chat and he's like, "Oh, just have a beer." And whether he did or not, I won't say. But he was, but the wife loved him, took out a map, like a piece of paper, and drew a map and circled all the houses that he needed to go to, and with their names and everything. And then it was just lights out from there. And I think he was at like 12 already though at that point. And so he ended up with 17, which is crazy. He made it, a couple $1,000 in a day. So there's a lot of money that can be made too,
Oh, and that's the other thing too. When you asked about door-to-door being dead, guys are making hundreds, like the top 1% of any industry, but guys are making like millions of dollars a year in door-to-door with a team under them. Like, there's a ridiculous amount of money to be made, and argue, super ethical or not, depending on the company they're at. But there's a lot of people that are great people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, creating tons of opportunity, making their company money, making their peers money, and helping clients get a better service. And if you're out there, you're selling, and this is something I had to come to terms with too, and why we spent so much time this year, and I went, redesigning our FERT service. But our service is awesome. The lawns we take care of look great. We just got this new office, and the lawn here is already looking 1,000 times better since we moved in earlier this year, and we haven't even been able to seed it yet because it's been hot and we don't have sprinklers or water. But so it's our program really works, and so when I go sell somebody, I can believe it. And if you're going out there and guys are selling a pest control service and they're like, "Man, my company sucks," not like Turf Badger rocks, obviously, but pick your whatever company that's not that good and doesn't have great technicians and all that stuff. It's then yeah, maybe you are not ethical trying to sell it and convince people that you're way better than whatever company. But for us, I know that we're local and we'll smash all the big guys that go out there and they don't do applications the way we do it. They don't do the same stuff we do. Their techs aren't licensed, all that. So
yeah, what do you think the biggest challenge for you this year has been?
Door-to-door, 100%. For me, it's just I went into this year going, man, I just want to sell 1,000 accounts door-to-door.
That's what everyone says year one. Our Tulsa boys said the same thing. They're going to put on 3,000 accounts this year. I'm like, cool. I hope you do.
Yeah. And I said that with nobody on the team, with just me, and not knowing how to sell door-to-door really. But hey, on Excel, looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, and I actually think, Dean, you're probably 1,000 account guy. You really are.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I think, that's another thing too. It's just just to make it super clear, if people have actually lasted this long and are listening about door-to-door stuff, I don't like going door-to-door particularly. I'm not woohoo, I get to go out and knock doors today. It's you get your face kicked in a bunch. But it's what has to happen to grow the company. And so I think to your point too, it's I should probably, and this is my ego, so take it with a grain of salt, but I should probably be 1,000 account guy, but I'm not on the doors enough. And so that's my thing that I'm, working on now, is just spending more time out there, knocking doors, talking to people. And then just, recruiting people and kind of recruiting as many people as I can, trying to do Instagram ads and all that stuff. But for me, I think it's just going to be trying to be the flag carrier, as Patrick or David would say, for the company.
Yeah. You know how many times or how many years I did shit that I didn't want to do? Years and years and years of just doing shit that I never wanted to do. Still wouldn't want to do, but I'd have to do it. You know what I mean? Just part of business. It sucks.
You were the best pest tech in Michigan for a while, right?
I was. I definitely was. Yeah. But yeah, so it's just part of business. We all have to do the shit we don't want to do. And most people quit before they even have to do it,
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just hitting the wall, right? Sure, I can hit the wall and be like, oh, maybe I should just do more Facebook ads and
it's easy.
Yeah, and playing Canva all day and be like, oh, I'm working it out, I'm trying it, and just waste money on that. It's no, I need to confront the wall and just chip away at it till I get through it.
You brought up Patrick Bet David. Are you going to the vault this year?
No, I'm poor. I shouldn't say that. It's a bad belief to say out loud. But no, because I'm stacking money.
That's the smartest. It's funny that you said that, because we do the same thing. So they have I always go to SLS and I always go to the vault, but then they always have the other stuff that they do. And we the yearly planning ones. You can pay $2,000 to go sit there in a Zoom for 2 hours, or you can just buy the recorded version for $500. It's the same thing, and then you get it forever. So I'm right there with you. We do that too.
Yeah, and I think my thing is I would love to go to meet people, but I made my biggest mistake last year, meta mistake, would be that I joined a bunch of different coaching groups, was talking to all these people. Every time I was confronted with like it's like, hey, should we, I'm trying to think of a lame decision, like what kind of coffee filter should we get? I'm like, I don't know, let me call everybody I've ever met to figure this out. And just calling all these people for all this dumb stuff, and that doesn't include you, obviously we still talk, but like I just shut out all the noise, and now I talk to one person every 2 weeks, and I just spend all the time executing, and because that's what actually moves the ball forward. I think that's why last year we didn't grow like I wanted to, is just because there was nobody moving the ball forward, because I'm just busy talking all day. I'm like, oh, right people, right seats. Yeah, no, the bus. Yeah, let's build a great bus. Like, it's like, at the end of the day, like, somebody just has to do the work. Like, you got to knock the doors. You got to make the calls. You got to, whatever, cut the lawns. Like, so that was a big thing for me.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about the vault this year. That's why I asked if you're going. We're bringing, I think we're bringing 18 people, which is going to be super awesome. But then I heard yesterday that Andy Elliott's bringing 43. I'm like, damn it. Funny enough about Andy Elliott, I have 2 friends that live here in my hometown that I talked to that just moved out to Arizona and now are working for him. That's kind of different. That's pretty wild. Yeah. They just packed up and all of a sudden they moved to Arizona, and they're knocking doors doing, what are they doing? Alarms on Arizona. So that's pretty interesting. Late 40s, early 50s. They just dropped everything they were doing and took off to Arizona.
That's crazy. That the power of social media, right? That's ridiculous. I mean, I went to one of his events, and yeah, I think the coolest thing about the Andy Elliott event, like the stuff they said was like, just like some sales tips, like some of it was good, but like the more powerful thing for me being there was seeing his team and like how bought in everybody was, and like everybody's jacked and everybody's like is stoked and everybody's like ready to go, and there's people just that are happy to help you with whatever you need, like, and that was the craziest thing to me for sure.
Yeah, last year at the vault, Andy Elliott jumped up on stage and gave Patrick Bet-David a watch, like a $20,000 to $30,000 watch. But yeah, it was just cool. Like, PBD is Andy Elliott's coach, so it was just cool. Like the world's big, but it's small. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's not a lot of guys at the top. Like, I'd have to be there someday, but it's like, yeah, like everybody knows each other, and there's none of this stupid stuff. Like we were talking about there's a local guy, and I switched over one of his accounts, and he calls me all mad, and I'm like, dude, like I don't care. Like I already sold the customer, so I'm not going to call him and cancel it. But like, I'll throw you a Wawa gift card, like whatever. Like there's bigger fish to fry. Like there's people that are doing millions and millions and millions of dollars. Like True Green is killing both of us, and you're worried about me? Like, so. Right.
How did that ever end up?
I called the customer a week later, and I was like, hey man, like, I'm sorry about this. Did he ever call you mad? And when I switched him over, the guy was like, yeah, my current guy might get really mad. And then we talked about who it was, and I was like, it's too late in the sales process. I'm just switching you. I called the customer, and the customer was like, yeah, no, I never heard anything from him. And so I assumed that the guy didn't show up anymore. And that it was all good. So I just kind of left it. I let it sit.
Yeah. And like I told you, like, we're not out there to smash the little guys. Like there's so much work, and there are local guys we try to play nice with too, but it's like the Orkins and Terminexes and True Greens. Like we're going after those accounts,
Yeah, no, and for us, like it's we're going after mainly franchises, True Green, and then there's a company Greenlawn out here that does. They actually do really well, and they're really cheap.
I'm not saying these companies are bad by any means. They're amazing companies, but they're big. They can afford to give us a few accounts.
Yeah, exactly. They got a brand, it's fine. We'll get the brand someday. Church Driver's building the brand now.
We're getting there. Long ways to go, but we're getting there. You keep helping us with that pink color. We'll be rocking. Getting our color out there for us.
Oh yeah.
I started a trend.
I think you did. I think you were pink before we were pink, right?
I don't know. It was 2018 when we first branded. Or 2019, I'm sorry. 2019 is when I rebranded.
Yeah, I think you beat me to it. And just for the audience's sake, we didn't know each other until afterwards. But Jonathan Batoshnik told both of us that only idiots would paint their trucks pink, but that would be the pinnacle of branding. And so we both took that advice.
Absolutely. Smart man.
Yeah.
I know, like, you and I talked the other day, we talk every day, but besides the point. What's the plan with the current company over the next, couple of years?
Yeah, so I have to really kind of look at it and really actually talk with Eric, our production manager, about what he wants to do here. But like, if mowing and landscaping disappeared and all the equipment like disappeared and like literally just vanished and like I got something for it, I would be like stoked, because I'm just like, it takes up a lot of, especially during the busy times of year, like takes up a lot of my bandwidth. Right. And like, even if we're doing like, bigger, whatever, even if it's not on me, like I still get called sometimes with stuff and I just don't want to have to worry about it. But so what it really looks like is us going from, I don't know, we'll probably finish this year with a couple hundred fertilization, weed control accounts, pest control, mosquito. Next year, I definitely want to we're just going to go, full force on that, grow as much as we can do. I think the advantage that I have on the fertilization side compared to the pest control side, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but is that, it's a lot easier to make ads for and get people to click on, because like
green grass.
Yeah, it's like green grass. Like, do you want green grass? It's like, yes, boom.
And like we talked about yesterday, it's sexy, right? Everyone wants a green lawn. No one wants bugs. You think about bugs and it's negative. You think about green lawns and it's positive,
Yeah, exactly. And so like everybody wants it, and there's tons of companies that aren't good at it, especially the franchise companies that like, I actually called to cancel an account for a customer the other day from a franchise that I won't name. And the franchise goes, oh, well, it takes, I know you're canceling because you still see weeds, but it takes 3 to 5 years to get the lawn in shape. I'm like, we do it in a season. Like, it doesn't take 3 to 5 years. Like, if we aerate and water it, like if they house for a whole year, end of the year, they aerate and water it, it'll be a perfect lawn by the middle of the next year, or perfect, like almost there. But so anyway, with that, there's tons of customers always switching from those, less good companies. So my plan is basically to do a ton of ads and kill it in ads in the spring. That's why one of the reasons why I'm not going to the vault, to save money now. But also I'm kind of one of those guys that wants to sit in the cool seats. So like next year I'll sit like with you in the cool section with all the cool people that just spent all the money to be there. But goal is to spend a bunch of money in ads next spring and then get a ton of customers and then just backfill with door to door. Because they just go to neighborhoods and say, yeah, we're taking care of that house and that house, and then go from having, basically just fill in areas. And I realized how small our service area was when I started going door to door, because I'm like, man, I already killed that township's done. Like, now I got to go to this one. But so, yeah, I think that's where we're really headed, is just straight fertilization, weed control. We're doing pest control. That's kind of an upsell. So not the same as like what you guys are doing, of course. Like, it's a less expensive service, more of like an add-on. Like, hey, yeah, while we're here, like we'll just do this, and we'll treat we'll just treat around the base, wipe the eaves down, and call it a day. Like nothing super crazy there. And then same thing for mosquito control. That's just a nice upsell for us. And we just use the, whatever, cedar oil, organicness, and, people seem to like it. But that's where we're going. And, I think that, it just looks like scaling that. And then, depending on how everything goes, I like I like just stealing people's things that work. So I like the model you've gone with. So I just am going to steal that probably and just do it for the fertilization side as far as adding locations and making partners with people and giving people equity because instead of, paying really, like the premise of like, instead of paying really awesome people a ridiculous amount of money, you pay them a very good amount of money that they're very happy with, and then give them equity in the company so they stay on, and you build really loyal people and just keep being a leader that people want to follow. And then with that, just scale. And I think that I definitely, unless something crazy happens, that I switch up my whole plan entirely, which is liable to happen.
For real. You need HVAC and plumbing soon.
Yeah, right. All of a sudden, full circle HVAC. No, but yeah. So I mean, that's assuming that doesn't happen. Though, I'm just going to be, we're just going to be scaling this, adding locations, and I think that my minimum goal has always been 10 million in top line, 2 million bottom line, because that's when you're at least a target for private equity, or like the bare minimum of like, and that's continues to go up. But I think that, yeah, I don't know. I can't see much past that because like we still just have one location. It's just me chilling here. But I can definitely see us getting to like 10 million and beyond. And then we're on the top 100 list too, I think. I don't think I don't know what is it? Like, I think 15 for lawn and landscape is a top 100, 15 million.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know pest control is like 7.5. Okay.
Yeah. So, but then there's also the standard of the radar methodology too. So maybe we just, and just grow and, come from behind. But anyway, that's kind of my plan as far as what we're doing but basically it's just to keep working every day and, doing what it takes to grow the business. And I try really hard to be patient, and it doesn't always go good, but that's that's kind of the gist of the plan.
I love that. Sounds really cool. So I'm assuming you plan on selling or either selling the lawn landscape side or maybe, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm either gonna, because we already own we own all the trucks and everything. Like, we just have some debt on that side, and so it's like I might just we're either gonna sell it and just get rid of it. And but my problem too is it's like people know it's like attached to us this full circle, and so we'd have to rebrand completely probably to get out of it or sell it and just like the accounts. And it's not that it does, probably like that side of the business probably does like $600,000 in revenue or so. So it's like. It's just not like it, and it's really hard to sell landscaping anyway. So we're either just gonna sell it or just like I don't know, just keep it and make like really dumb it down, add no new customers, and just because like at this point, like to make tall grass short grass like isn't that hard. Like to mow lawns, like, and obviously there's a lot of complexities with that. Customers are like, I don't know why my lawn can't just be perfect. I'm like, I can't explain to you because you work at a job like how hard it is to get this to coordinate, but like for us, I think we'll probably end up doing, we'll probably either end up selling it or just simplifying it down like as much as humanly possible so that we just have, on the lawn and landscape side, like we just have it super simple. So it takes like almost no time to run. But ideally, I think to your point of focus, like why, like, Olson's was a really, compared to, it was in the top, like, I think it was top 1% of landscape companies, right? I don't know what the averages are, but I think Olson's was top 1% of all mowing and landscape companies. And you sold that just so you could focus. And I think honestly, I'll have to have that hard conversation with myself and probably just sell it to focus. I still like holding onto the attachment of the idea of keeping it, but I think we're probably just going to sell it and then just do fertilization weed control, because then it just completely opens up the ability for us to focus on one thing. And like, to grow just a fertilization weed control company sounds easy to me. And so then I feel stupid for not just doing it.
Have you read any really good books this year? Or anything that you've really liked? Maybe a podcast, maybe something different that, people could learn from? So
I used to read a lot more than I've been reading recently. But I think it's just because it's like
busy season.
Yeah, for sure. But I think I think for me too, it's like, I'm not constrained right now by operations. I'm not constrained right now by like a lot of, like, I'm constrained right now by, by sales and marketing. Cause like, that's if I need to be able to get more accounts in. So, I mean, like I've been more rereading the same books. I was just reading this and, making ads. Alex Ramosey's book, big fan of him. Since we met, I've been a big fan of him, but, just his stuff. I've been rewatching the Pest Control Millionaire door-to-door training series. Oh, by the way, for anybody watching, if you're considering doing door-to-door, buy that, because that's how I learned how to sell. I never got to fly out and go see these cool kids drop 15 accounts a day. I had to go out there and just knock doors myself and learn it. I would send Jonas audio clips of him being like, you told the guy you were doing like pest control and you're actually a lawn care guy. Like, so.
Thanks for the plug. I didn't ask you to do that.
It's pretty good. So with that, we've just been really, I think it's for me just been more of listening to like sales training stuff and, kind of listening to like any of some of the door-to-door experts podcasts are like fluffy and they're just talking about like, oh, look, here's my childhood as a sales rep. And I'm like, I don't care. Skip to the part where they talk about how they're selling, and listening to the Golden Door reps talking, listening to your podcast and, listening to Parker. The other door-to-door guys are coming on, listening to James, like, just all that stuff, I think for me has been a lot more pointed than in the past. Like in the past, I would pride myself, like I'm mowing lawns and I read, 4 to 6 books a week, but like I'm making more money now than I was then. And I don't know what, I think for me, it just has to do with like what information I need at the time. And so right now, like the information I need is how to sell and how to recruit. And so listening to like Andy Elliott's stuff about how he's recruiting and all that. And then I just listen to every Alex Ramosey video ever made because it just inspires me and I think it's cool and the business stuff. But for me, that's kind of, that's been it, Door-to-Door Millionaire. I'm waiting for the Pest Control Millionaire book to come out. I'm sure that's, 10 years down the line, but eventually there will be one.
It's already crossed my mind for sure.
It's not, you might have to make the sale, like it'll take a lot of time. So you might have to sell the business, down the line. We're talking 10, 15 years down the line, massive exit. Jonas, the, multi-millionaire. Is Jonas the billionaire floating around, by the way? Is that
I got a shirt. I ordered it yesterday. It's literally said, I almost wore it. I was like, I'll hold off. It says future billionaire on it.
There we go. Yeah. So maybe when you're a billionaire and you don't have anything better to do but sit on your yacht, you can type up a book. But yeah, but no, that's kind of been it for me. For me, more recently, it's been like, what should I be doing right now? Oh, I should go knock on doors. And I don't know how you got out of that too, because it's like, for me, I'm sitting around, it's like, what's the most valuable thing I could be doing right now? Knocking on doors, getting customers. And so I don't know when that eventually stops if you have a team of people and you're like, okay, I should do CEO things now, but that's what I went up to.
That's awesome. It's always good hearing from you, Dean. I know I told you I wouldn't keep you too long today, but I just wanted to check in. Your last podcast did really, really well. You're always fun to be around. So thanks for hanging out with us again.
No, thanks for having me. And hopefully I can give you a better update next year and, have a door kicking, killing it. And
you're going to have 100 dudes next year.
Hell yeah.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
See ya. Hey guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Pest Control Millionaire. We don't charge any money for the show, obviously, but the podcast isn't free. You can pay for the podcast by sharing it with your friends and your family. So please like and subscribe and give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. These things make a huge difference for us. If you have any specific questions you want answered about the business or your life by me or my guests, send an email to info@pestcontrolmillionaire.com. And if you want to get in touch with me about any personal business coaching, check out our website at www.pestcontrolmillionaire.com. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you guys again on the next one.